So there's an interesting story that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner in their fancy Kalorama home in Washington would not let Secret Service agents use their bathrooms. The people there to protect them were not allowed to use any of the 6+ bathrooms in their home. And so they had to rent out an apartment for those agents so they could go use the toilet. And it's cost the taxpayer over $100,000 to date, all because Ivanka and Jared are too good to use the same bathrooms as the people there to save their lives. And if you think this is ridiculous, I'm going to read you some reporting because it really gets worse. It notes here that these are people there to protect the lives of some of America's most important citizens, as well as Ivanka and Jared. And here it says that, this is the biggest challenge for them is finding a place to go pee. And it says here, instructed not to use any of the half-dozen bathrooms inside the couple's house, the Secret Service detail assigned to President Trump's daughter and his son-in-law spent months searching for a reliable restroom to use on the job, according to neighbors and law enforcement officials. After resorting to a porta potty, as well as bathrooms at the nearby home of former President Barack Obama and the not-so-nearby residence of Vice President Pence, the agents finally found a toilet to call their own. I'm not making that up. They literally had to go do their business at the last president's house. The guy that's not even president anymore, he's a private citizen, likely because he has agents still, and he doesn't make them go pee somewhere else. Let them in. Barack Obama let them in when Ivanka and Jared wouldn't. Mike Pence, to his credit, did so as well, even though apparently it was a bit of a trek. They continue here. But it came at a cost to the U.S. taxpayers. Since September 2017, the federal government has been spending $3,000 a month, more than $100,000 to date, to rent a basement studio with a bathroom from a neighbor of the Kushner family. A White House spokesperson denied that Trump and Kushner restricted agents from their 5,000 square foot home with its 6 bedrooms and 6.5 bathrooms, and asserted that it was the Secret Service's decision to not allow protective detail inside. That account is disputed by a law enforcement official familiar with the situation, who said the agents were kept out at the family's request. I don't believe Ivanka and Jared for a second. They definitely think they're so much better than the people that protect their lives. Look, even if you're a scumbag, like Ivanka and Jared are, even if you're like, we're better than the help. We're better than the working class and middle class people there to protect us and serve us and all these sorts of things. Couldn't you at least designate a bathroom? Like, you got 6.5 of them. I assume that half is maybe like an ensuite or something. I don't know, whatever. Like, you have 6 bathrooms plus. You couldn't find one to give to the Secret Service agents to use when they need to go to the bathroom? Really, Ivanka and Jared? And if people think this is a nothing story, it isn't. It isn't, because it's about fundamental human respect. And the way people, and we're not just talking about rich and famous and powerful people, but even regular people, the way you treat the people that are working for you, the way you treat people when you go to a restaurant, the way you treat delivery drivers and other working class people, for me, is a real sign of your character. And Ivanka and Jared don't have any goddamn character if this is how they're acting. Not just to maids and butlers and these sorts of things, but to the people that if stuff went down under her father's egging at the Congress last week, these people would be there to protect their lives. So let them use the bathroom. But it also matters, of course, because you have all of this subverting the narrative Republicans are trying to create for themselves. They're trying to suggest that, it's the Democrats that are the party of the snooty liberal elites that hate working people, that hate people that work with their hands, that hate the 9-to-5 lunch pail blue-collar Joes. Ted Cruz loves to say now the Republican Party is the party of the working class, he'll say. Well, that's not true. This demonstrates that the top of the Republican Party, which is Trump and his family, it still is. Polling yesterday, I believe, came out showing that Trump would still win the 2024 Republican primary. So Trump and his spawn are still the top of that party. They hate working people. Secret Service agents aren't like these are highly trained officers. They're probably paid handsomely relative to a lot of working class people, and they're still not good enough to use the same toilets. So when people are like, oh, Barack Obama got fancy mustard on his sandwiches, we're the real party of the lunch pail working class. Well, no, because when the chips are down, people like Trump, people like Ivanka don't want to shake your hand. They don't want to go to the same parties as you. They don't want to go to the same country clubs as you. They don't even want to use the same toilets as you. Barack Obama doesn't have a problem with it. And look, I'm not even an Obama fan. I think Obama really is in some ways a bastion of like neoliberal elitism that excludes the working class. That's why I'm a Bernie guy. But Obama understands at the very least some basic human character and dignity, that the people that protect your lives should be allowed to use a washroom in your house. So like this really does irk me. It really, really does. And it really is one of those examples that maybe seems like it doesn't matter in politics, but it really, really does actually matter. Ivanka Trump wants to one day be president. She wants to simultaneously suggest that, she's this very rich and successful woman, but she also understands the struggle of working class people. And this shows she really doesn't. This is the lady that told people, oh, we all understand hardship. She's telling young people to not worry too much about student loans being canceled. That's not good. You just have to work really hard and everything will be fine. Ivanka and Jared are about to have a rude awakening because frankly, they think that everyone's just going to forget their associations with Trump's evil. And they're not. And they're even going to get pushed out of their fellow rich friends club. A lot of rich elites that don't support Trump, they're not going to want Ivanka and Jared around. They're not going to want them at their parties, at their private events and those sorts of things. They're not. And they don't want to hang out with the actual Trump base, which is like, MAGA blue-collar people, MAGA small business owners, MAGA people that have $100,000 a year. They're well off but not rich. Ivanka and Jared don't even want to be in the same bathrooms as those people. So you're in for a rude awakening, Jared and Ivanka. I tell you this, guys, again, how people treat their help tells you everything you need to know about them. And Ivanka and Jared are awful people.